Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we have Abang Abu, or otherwise known as Mekanik Wang. Now, a lot of you may already know him. For those who don't, Abang Abu is a serial entrepreneur who is fascinated by and also passionate about helping people have financial independence, build financial wealth, and also have financial stability as they get older in life. Thank you so much for coming, Abang Abu.
Thank you for inviting me.
Excellent. Abang Abu, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those fellas who have not heard about you before?
Right, yeah. I'm just an ordinary guy who actually born, 30 years ago. 30 years.
We're still young.
I'm reaching 50 soon, I'm doing business. I'm into businesses. However, one of my passion is always share about finance. I've been doing this for the past 12 years now, teaching from the young kids up to the retirees about finance, from no money to how to save up, a lot of debts to become free of debts, and create your wealth and become financially independent. So this is what I've been preaching and I've been talking and then actually teaching for the past 12 years. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. Now, Abang Abu, for the interest of our listeners today, specifically for the topic about real estate, I just want to bring you back towards the time that you bought your first property, Abang Abu.
Okay.
Can I just ask you, how young were you when you bought your first property?
I think when my first property is basically it's not under my name when I bought it first. Because at that time I was I think I'm 21, around there, 21 years. I bought a property for my parents, for my mom, it is an investment property, in fact, because my mother already have a house, but then I thought, okay, I need to buy some the first one, so I bought it in Kota Tinggi, Johor, and I still remember it was cost 28,000 ringgit at that time. I think this is 20 years ago, 25 years ago, so that was my first property. I still remember, and it is not my interest, but it was my mother's. She said, hey, why don't you, you're working now, got some money, why don't you buy this property for investment? So that was my first property that I rented it out again. So I bought it and then just rented it out to one teacher in remember school teacher that actually rented from us. So that was my first property. I remember that. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Abang Abu, so when you bought this first property, were you already from Kota Tinggi, or are you not from Kota Tinggi?
No, I'm not from Kota Tinggi. I was in JB, JB town, and I was working in Singapore, and that was my mom was being told by someone, hey, there's a house here, you want to buy whatever, and then so my mom said, okay, why not? Let's go and just that. Those days, there's no much choice, to go and look around. There's no nowadays you have so much of choice, you can actually choose and buy. But those days, okay, this is a good place, and so just get it. Those are the old times, old timers way. So. Basically, yeah, that's how I get started in property, I believe, yeah.
Okay. Abang Abu, can I just ask you, how long were you working before you bought your first property?
Okay, actually, after my SPM, I actually out for, because my mother and father is running business. They have sundry shop and they have also restaurant. But being a very good child, I always obey my parents, so they feel I'm too obey, so they say you cannot stay with us.
Okay.
So they asked me to go somewhere and stay with my uncle. At that time, my uncle was in Singapore, and so I was come here to work for him in his money changing and bookshop. That's how I started. So it was 18 years old, so 19, 20, but at that time, my salary, whatever I get, I will give it to my mom. That's what happened. I give it to my mom. But looking at that, I don't got enough money. But what I were doing, just to tell you the straight story. I don't want to So what I was doing at that time when I was 19, I started to involve in stock market. I was involved in shares, like, and because I was surrounded with my Chinese friends, all I was like 19, but my friends was like 40, 50 years old, like all all the all those people. So they are involved in this thing, and I was like suddenly dragged into it, and I start to learn and I start to earn as well. Like during that time, it was like it's like bull run, like everybody making money, or just like like happily making money. So like I have at that time when I was like 20, like I have like 100,000 Singapore dollars, like in my account, and that's where I thought, hey, now I need to like like somehow. I don't know about stock market. Seriously, I don't know at that time. I thought, wow, make money. So that's how people make money, So I thought, hey, and you just like close your eyes, you buy something that you need to make money. Like close eye, you buy something, make money. So you don't have any skill that time. So I thought, hey, wow, so easy, like those days. But then I don't know what happened after I got that 100,000. Something in my heart, like something was like telling me, no, you should take out this money, and like as your mom is asking to buy a house, so you take out the money to buy a house, like, and you do some other things. So what I decided, I take out all this money, like I just left with the first stock that I've ever bought, which is ESO, ESSO. That one only I keep. The rest all I take out. My remiser was shocked, like, why you are doing this? The market is so good, why you are doing this funny thing? No, I got committed on like buy property and all those stuff. And you know what? After the 6 months after I do that, there's a big market crash. It's like just crash and hit everybody, and it was like, like zero. If I keep my money in the stock market, I think I will never get a single cent. Like that, how bad was the crash? But something happened. I just like take that move until my remiser was asking me, like he told me like one day he called me and he asked, hey, how you know this thing going to happen? Then if for the truth is I don't know there's such thing in like in the stock market, and that was the first time I know there's such thing, and I start to learn about stock market. I start to go and take a remiser course, and I from Society of Remiser, and I ended up become a remiser as well. Like so that was like my first like the whole thing happened. So the money that I get for my first house is from stock market, like it's like from stock market, and also a bit of my savings, of course, that I give my mom every month.
Okay. So you did not take any loan for this. It was an outright cash buy.
No, yeah, that was like full cash, like you paid with full cash for that first property.
Abang Abu, can I ask you, before you bought this property, have you ever paid anything for, that kind of size, 28,000 ringgit? Have you bought anything for yourself at 28,000 ringgit?
No, at that time I never.
So how do you feel about taking this money, 28,000 ringgit? It's a lot.
No, at that time you don't really know about being rich, millionaire. Like you don't know. Like like for you it's like, okay, so what? Like okay, you take it. Like it's like you know what I mean. Like at that age you don't have any commitment. You don't have a family. You don't have kids. You don't have whatever. Like, and you don't really like see like wow. Living in luxury or must own a car. You don't know all these. Like for me, I really like don't know all these. So when my mom said, okay, come on, I got it. So until my mom was shocked, like, hey, how much? How come you got so much money? And you know what? The balance of the money, I even actually give to one of my cousin brother, 100,000 ringgit. Like I give him, like because he was asking me, hey, you got money? I thought, how much? How much you want? I said, 100K. Yes, I have. Because we. At that time, I really don't really understand like millionaires or whatever. We don't have that thoughts, So for that's how like I feel, I don't feel like it's so big, and that's just happened like that. Because at that time, I really don't know, like this is big, like nowadays I understand. Hey, come on, man, 28,000, what you do with my money? Like those days, okay, take it, man. Like, and then you know what? I get my cousin take like 3-4 years to pay me back, because the whatever that I give him lah. So then only I realized about money and everything, like so it's about taking care about money and all those stuff lah. So to answer your question, I paid cash for it, and I don't feel like it's huge. Okay.
Can I ask you, Abang Abu, before this, who was the one who influenced you about saving money, the concept of saving? Was it
I think my mom is very brilliant person, like she is a person who really have a very good business mind, while my father is a workaholic, like he'll work and like just give money, but my mom will strategize the money. Like you say how much to save, how much to invest in gold, where to buy property. Like what to do with the money. Like she have that. So I think I learned a lot from her. Like at that age, I learned from my mom the way that she's so brilliant. Like sometimes she got an opportunity like to buy something, but she won't have money. She won't have money. So she quickly ring up all her friends. 10 of them, okay, come everybody bring 1,000 to play kutu, kutu. Alright, then she take the money and she go buy first. then she's so brilliant in like a lot of things. So I think I learned a lot from her, the value of money and the way that she spends. She don't spend luxuries. Like she's so thrifty. And she give people. So a lot of things that I learned from my mother is something that actually like bring me where I'm not right now. Like I'm doing a lot of basically from my mom lah.
Okay. Abang Abu, the question I wanted to ask, now that you've probably had that property for many, many years already, I don't know whether you've done a valuation from 28,000, how much is it worth right now? Do you know? Just an indication.
No, actually, what I did, actually I do re-strategize after I learned from Robert, like I know about property, so I need to like do, like a restructure. I cannot be attached with my property, like as it like, like I cannot too emotional, so I need to be, as an investor, I need to change my mindset. It's not about it's mine, like it's whether it's profit ROI. What's the ROI? Like can I make money? Like so how can I actually change and get something else? So what I decided after some time is like, because in Kota Tinggi the rental return was so low, like it's very low, like, and I find that the money being stuck in there, like the value gone up to 100,000, and then like, and all the money is there. I get 200 ringgit a month, and I find that maybe this is not the good thing. So what I do, I choose to sell it to the person that actually staying there with the rate, and I take that money to find better properties for get a better cash flow. That's what I have done. I never keep it until now. Like because even I keep it until now, maybe the area maybe can go up to 400 ringgit or 500 ringgit.
Wow.
Which I think not something exciting for an investor. So I thought, okay, we sell it off at that time and we shift to some other things. We go into like shop houses and all those stuff lah.
Okay, well done. So Abang Abu, for your first property you bought for yourself, not the one under your mum, but the first one you bought for yourself. When was the first one that you bought? How old were you?
I bought it in 1990 in Singapore. Like I bought my first property in Singapore after I get married, and then I got a kid at that time. So I bought my first property in Singapore at 180,000 Singapore dollars at that time, and it was like just a 3-room flat, we call it, like just a 3-room, but it was in Tanjong Pagar, which is the central of Singapore. So that's my first property that I bought.
So before that, you were renting in Singapore?
No, I was staying with my in-laws.
I see. Okay.
They have a huge house, like. So I was smart, like rather than I rent, why not I just stay here?
Yes, we have to be patient, kan? Sabar, kan? Yeah. Ababu, when you first bought your first property, did you take any loan for that?
Yeah, of course. Like in Singapore, we have HDB loans. Like first-time buyers, they are given a special rate loan. So like it's not that from the bank, from the HDB itself. So the interest or the dividend for that loan is very low. Like it's just for the first-time buyers. So Singapore government encourages the citizen or PR to own house. So the first house they encourage by giving them a very, very low kind of like interest rate. So I grabbed that. But of course, you need to still make down payment of like 20% down payment, and then the rest will be like borne by the HDB.
So before this first property that you bought, did you have any other outstanding loans that you have experienced about or not? Did you have like a car loan? Did you do a study loan? Nothing?
No, nothing at that time.
So 180,000 at 20% down, that means you still borrowed something about 150,000, right?
Right.
So Ababu, this is a very personal question that I think a lot of our viewers want to know. The day before you sign your loan, your hutang is very small or almost negligible. But the moment you sign the loan, the next day is a few 100,000 in debt. And a lot of people are very scared. They're very scared to go into debt. Did you have any of these fears?
So, for me, I know that I'm going into something, a commitment, long-term commitment. And I also like think about, hey, this is my future, you know, like I need to have a home, you know, like I need to like, if not now, when I'm going to like buy, you know, like, so, and I can't afford to like keep until a few 100,000, you know, like to buy, you know, like I must get some loan. And knowing that, you know, like I have, buy what I can afford. So I never buy things that I can't afford, or I don't buy this to show off. I just feel that I need a shelter and I need to have my own home. So, and at that moment, that is my income, that is what I can able to pay monthly. So I do a calculation. And in Singapore, we have agents, you know, like we deal with the housing agents so that they will give us all the details. And you know what? I also like become an agent after that because I want to know about property. I want to know, you know, like what is this all about property, you know, like I go into, because before I invest, I become an agent first so that I can learn about the law, I can get a lot of new knowledges, and like that's how later on I become an investor, you know, like by going through that path of learning about property by becoming an agent. So I don't really have like that scared, because I think I'm okay at that time by doing some reserve. I have some reserve, I got some income, then I thought, okay, I can manage this, you know, like, so I don't have that scarcity. But you know what, you know, like sometimes in business things just happen, you know, like we have to like be we sometimes things happen even we are not prepared. We are not prepared for the thing and it's happened, you know, like, so I have to go through a very rough period in business, because in Singapore there's like SARS at those days, you know, like, and suddenly my business was affected huge, you know, like it's affected badly, and I become in debt, you know, like I can't able to pay my loan for the bank, you know, like you was asking me, you know, like I don't have that scarcity, but it's happened. So I couldn't pay the loan because I don't have the income, because I'm not salaried. I depend on my business, and if my business is not going to like give me money, then how I'm going to pay, you know, like, so that's when the Singapore government also understand that, and then they decided to give you some like what Malaysians are doing, you know, like 6-month grace period. But you know that the business doesn't turn around in 6 months. You know? So I ended up, I have to sell the property. So I have to sell the property so that I can actually like free from that stress of, you know, like I decide. But it was a very difficult decision because I have a quarrel with my wife. You know, like I have to like quarrel with my in-laws. You know, like because I have debts to pay. Suddenly my business, you know, like got debts, you know, like I have to like borrow from people, and I come in a very difficult situation, and I don't want to be in that situation by answering people, you know, like every day try to, you know, like have pressure in me. So I decided, you know, like it's okay, you know, like it's my property, I'm going to sell it. Right? So I don't want to like have in this issue, you know, like it's killing me every single day, you know, like so I make a decision to sell after like few years, but it rose up, you know, like it rose up to I got extra 40,000 like profit out of it. But looking back now, I think I made a huge mistake, because that property now worth 700, 800,000 in Singapore, you know, like but that's life, you know, like sometimes we plan. So my suggestion is like, you know, like when you want to like buy a property for your own self, buy something that you can afford to pay first. You know, like make sure the first property not need to be you know, like a very huge kind of like thing. Something for the first one, you know, like to stabilize yourself so that you can buy next property later on. So that is the next strategy that you use after my first lesson, you know. So after that, I start to learn about property. You know, like when I sell, I feel like very, you know, like, wow, oh my God, I tell myself I'm going to like buy 10 of these again, man. You know, like those kind of like, you know, like, so that's how I entered into property investment per se.
Excellent. So Abang Abu, I guess from what you said just now, the first property was not like a palace. It was not like the dream home. It was just a property that you could afford, yep. You could comfortably maintain your cash flow for.
Yes.
So you don't stretch yourself so far.
No. Yep.
So Abang Abu, what do you think about some people who say that, you know, you know, property is such a big price. I might as well just buy a car, because at least in a car I can drive every day. People can see me in the car. I look good in the car. It's easier to also impress someone in the car. But probably I cannot take it out with me. I can't bring my picture to show my friend, hey, this is my house, you know, this is my house. But they can see my car. What do you think about people who buy non-property assets.
So they might have that kind of like feeling for a few months lah, like few months they can so proud. Now after a few years, you'll say they will be like stressed with having that, like they will feel like, oh my god, why I do this, like they buy huge car because people, like they want to be praised, and they want to like show, like they want to like say, hey, I'm okay, like my status quo, and status quo always like shown by car, like your credit card, your lifestyle, like. But your house normally very, very rare, like people. If your car can be drove, if your house can be driven, then I think everybody will buy house, so they can go around and show, hey, this is my house. But saying that that is actually a very unintelligent financial decisions, like for me, like it's not a very intelligent financial decisions. Because some people, because they are spending on liability, they are investing in liabilities, which actually the price of the car will never grow, like higher and higher every year, but it's just going to depreciate and depreciate, and even in Singapore, after 10 years, the car is out, no more already. So you need to like buy again, So for me, it is not a very intelligent. And looking at all those successful people, when I actually mingle around with successful people, all these people, the first thing they buy is their property first. And then some of them, they buy the car, big car, but they are not paying. The properties are paying it. That is the smart way of like having it. That is the smart way. So you buy a property which is an asset which gives you money. So with that asset, now you can choose whether you want to like buy a next asset and then the next asset. And then when you have 3 assets, okay, now maybe it's the time for me for a BM lah. So now, I got this income that actually can pay for my, like car, which I don't feel, stressed, because I'm not going to like pay through my work or my salary or my what, but this property is paying for this. This property is paying for this. This business is paying for this. So that is financial intelligence, So for me, my advice is look back lah. I think nowadays car also no need. You want to like what? You want to have BM? You just grab just grab. Or you want to like Ferrari? You can just like rent one like for 5,000 a day or 10,000 a day. Just drive one time, then okay already.
Correct.
No, I think for the beginners, I think if you ask me what is the best, I think you go for your house. Go for property first, and then the car is the next one.
Abang Abu, can I just ask you, now that we have economic situation challenges, let's not talk about even the US-China part. Let's just talk about even Asian region right now. There's a lot of economic challenges. COVID is a challenge as well.
Yep.
Is this still a time to look at it, or you should one say, okay, wait, until things look better, then only I buy?
I think that for me that's wrong. I think if you want to like when things get better, then the price get better. The price going to get better and better, and then you see, alamak, you miss the boat. Like if I bought in Dulkori this place, that guy was selling at 500k, and now like just 2 months, now it's go back to million, so you lose the boat. So for me, this is a time for you to basically look around, shop around. Don't get like into it too fast, but shop around and get the good like buy. Like there's so many good buys actually during this moment. Prices are actually like. And there are people who now out of job, out of income, are selling their second property, third property, they're selling off, like for discounts. So that's where also you can see a lot of opportunity. So for me, this is a time for you to, actually this is not the time, this is too late for you, like you're supposed to do this, like few months, like before, like so you study the market, you can actually see the price, hey, this place, this is the price, and then tomorrow, hey, drop lah, man, man, like, oh, it's here, okay, now I can go in, like, so if you can watch that, you can get good bargains. But many people don't see that, you see. Many people, like thought, okay, market is no good, so it's not a good time to buy, like, and maybe yes for some particular properties, but what I'm saying is to shop for it, like look for it. You will find a very good bargain at these junctions, like, because there's so many properties being stressed, like. Depressed, like not because the property is not good, because the owner have to like delete, like they have to like let go of some property because they're stuck. I know few of my friends, like who run business or multi-million dollar businesses, but because of the cash flow problem, they have to let go of certain property, which is good. It's not a lousy property, it's like very good yield, very good rental income, but they have to let go because they need to cover a lot of things, because they have a lot of property, so they need to so this is a time where we can also look for such properties, where you can actually get for bargain and all those stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Abang Abu, sorry, if I could just take you back now. Now you're 35, right? You're still very young, right? But
yep, thanks.
Push you back to the time before you bought your first property for yourself.
Right, okay.
What advice would you tell your younger self before you bought your first property? What would you tell yourself?
Okay. I tell you, you must keep the property. You must buy a few more. Why? Ernest, in Singapore, the property price is, oh my, if my uncles, my grandparents, if they have invested some in these properties at those days, which cost 18,000, 9,000, 10,000, and you know what is the worth now? It's 10 million, it's 8 million, in Singapore. So it's wow, how to actually make the money grow that fast in maybe 20 years, 30 years, you can't make the money grow that much in 20 years in any other instrument except property, in Singapore especially. So in places like Penang, places like Kuala Lumpur, all this is gold mine, if you can go in early. And so my advice for the young people, look for those, areas that you can buy and you keep it, and you just keep it. You make your, if you cannot get rental, then you buy something, you force keep, force saving, force saving and just keep. And keep on adding properties every year, just keep on one, because property is something that I see will never go wrong. For me, it's stock can be go wrong, business can go wrong. Property for me, I don't see can go wrong. And one of the very traditional way of people doing things, become rich traditionally, there's only 3 things they do. Those days, which is they save money, they buy land, they buy property. They save money, they buy land, they buy property. So that is the, the what you call that, the mantra, the technique, the secret of those people those days, which I think still valid today, still valid. You make money, then you buy property, dump in property. Maybe land or something very rare nowadays, but property is something that you can do, still. I believe billionaires or millionaires, if you look at their asset diversification, property play a very big chunk of their, diversification and portfolio, So I believe property is, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I think in all situation, property is a must in everybody's portfolio. So that's what I can say.
Okay. Abang Abu, I know that you're also a family man. You have children as well.
Right.
How do you inculcate not just a saving habit but wealth growing habits in your kids? What do you do to teach them?
Okay, for me at this junction, I'm living up. We leave it to him or her to decide, because what I can cultivate is be prudent, don't spend too much, save as much as possible, start to invest in gold, buy gold, so that those are the things that I do. But I encourage them to do business. And some of my kids, they are not into business, but they have some skills, so I ask them to develop, because for me, business is something that I always encourage them to do. Start to get involved in business, because through business you can actually invest in other thing and everything. So at this moment, my first is the one who is doing some business, and he's learning about investments. He looking around. He's building up his portfolios in his business. So that's what I do. My second is he's in gaming, so I'm looking the way how he can actually make money through this game. And my third is she's in this childcare education. So maybe she can come out with some of her own kind of things. So I always encourage them on business, not much on property and not much on other investment at this, because my kids is still in a level of they are just understand the normal business yet. So but looking forward, yes, they know I'm doing stock market, they know I'm investing in all this, so they learn from seeing me. I believe they are learning from watching me. They are learning something that I'm doing, so they might have that interest later on. Yeah, that's what I can say about them at this moment.
I think what you said is actually very interesting, Abang Abu, because what you're saying is, I'm not going to give you the fish. So daddy has assets, but you also have to work for it. So I teach you how to fish. I give you a money generation ability, and then it's for you to develop it further. Abang Abu, we are coming towards the closing minutes for our interview, but I wanted to ask you
so fast.
yeah, a bit more personal questions. How important is it for your spouse to also understand what you're doing? Because when you invest in a property, if you earn a lot of money, but if you invest in a property but your spouse doesn't understand what you're doing, they're like, hey, our lifestyle, we can have a better lifestyle. Why can't we have a better lifestyle? How important is having your spouse with you on this?
Oh, they have to understand what you are doing. If not, it's going to be like issues and problems, like, and looking back at my own, like life, I come from a very normal kind of family, which means, like my parents are normal, like they are shopkeepers, they are, like doing small businesses. But my wife, she actually born into a very rich family, like she come from a very rich family. So her way of like looking at money and like, because everything is like, like you have it, like you want anything, you got it, like. So when I first get married to her, it was a bit challenge for me to like, like to change the mindset, like, because she expect the same from me, like, hey, I'm not like your daddy, Oh, so I got a bit of challenge too, but she was like able to understand me, and she start to change her lifestyle, like towards more understand about what I'm doing, like even I go through a lot of business failures, like she follow me, like she go through it, and I appreciate that. So for me, I think your spouse need to understand what you do so that you got the strength. If your spouse don't understand how good you are, how talented you are, but you don't have the strength, like you will be like lacking something, like, and you don't got the peace, like you will struggle alone, and you feel like you are not appreciated, like, so I think getting your family, especially your spouse, to understand what you're doing is very, very important, right? That's very important. So especially when you come to money, like make sure that every week you sit down and you talk about money, like involve your kids, involve your, just talk about money, like what's money, like what's your plan, what's your dream, what's whatever. You just keep on talking. That will be a very good practice, or very good habit to cultivate a very good, like money, what do you call that? The money mind in your family. So I think very extremely important.
No, Abang Abu, I think that what you also do is you actually not just teach individuals, you also teach couples about money management, because it's going to be very important for their financial future together. And obviously, I also remember about my own family, when we argue, most of the time the root is money.
Yes.
Finances, loans and commitments and whatnot. Yes. So it's important. And I know that you're also offering programs as well, Abang Abu, in Malaysia for this. And you offer it actually very specifically. You can also do counseling. You also do one-on-one coaching. You do a lot of extremely important things that I think is fundamental, not just to property, but for their financial well-being. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say one thing, and I'm going to put Abang Abu on the spot over here. I know that Abang Abu has this passion to help each and every one of you. If you are looking for a way out, if you're looking for advice, if you're looking for a strategy, when you watch this video, I'm going to tag Abang Abu. All you have to do is just connect with Abang Abu, says Star Property. Abang Abu, please get in touch with them and try and see what we can do to help them. I'm pretty sure your courses are going to be able to change and transform families, not just individuals, families.
Yes.
That to me is so important. If you earn a big income today, doesn't mean tomorrow you're okay. Because when your income stops because of your job stopping, what happens? And I think this COVID situation has shown you need to develop reserves. You need to develop a money machine. As what you said, tempayan duit. I remember last time, something like that. Very good. Abang Abu, last question before I let you go.
Okay.
Do you see yourself retiring? Do you see yourself not working for money?
That's what I'm doing right now. For me, there's no retiring in my dictionary. Like retire when you die. That's when you retire. Like from the world. So as long as you are living, for me, retirement is like when you are die. Like for me, what you are born to do, like what you are born to do. So to get that, you must have that financial freedom. Once you got the financial freedom, then you can look for the why you are born. You can go back to your purpose and you start to like live your life. So yeah, that's what I can say.
All right. Thank you so much, Abang Abu. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next series of these discussions.